Texas was pushed to the brink by 2 million feral hogs destroying farms overnight, and the way the state responded changed everything. It took until feral hogs caused a massive disaster across the state of Texas for the tone to finally change, but when the response came down, it came down hard, coordinated, and relentless, because the nuisance had silently grown into a statewide agricultural war. People across Texas were losing their minds over more than 2 million feral hogs, animals capable of turning an entire year of hard work into rubble overnight. Every year, these hogs drained an estimated $119 million from Texas agriculture, and by the mid-2020s, when crop losses and property damage were combined, total damage surged toward $500 million. While much of the country watched from a distance, some even mocking the chaos, Texas farmers were watching fields vanish in hours. Feral hogs were never supposed to exist at this scale. Hundreds of years ago, North America had no massive wild hog populations. They were brought by European explorers and later settlers who released pigs into the wild as mobile food sources during long journeys. Over time, some escaped, others were abandoned, and many were later crossbred with European wild boars imported for sport hunting during the 19th and 20th centuries. The result was a hybrid animal that was large, intelligent, highly adaptable, and capable of reproducing at extreme rates. Warm climates, abundant water, and open land made the southern United States ideal, and nowhere paid a higher price than Texas, where feral hogs began behaving like a roaming army, pushing into new territory without borders. The moment the problem became impossible to ignore came in 2004, when Jay Norman was planting corn in Fannin County. As he reached the end of a row and turned his tractor around, he saw more than 100 feral hogs eating seeds that had touched the soil only minutes earlier. They moved in organized lines along the corn rows, tearing up each furrow with surgical efficiency. Hours of labor and major financial investment were erased almost instantly. That year marked the first time Norman's farm suffered hog damage, but there were no signs it would be the last. From then on, he was forced to replant acres year after year, not because of weather or disease, but because hogs learned to recognize planting equipment, watching patiently until tractors moved far enough away before striking. What happened on Norman's land was repeating statewide. Entire fields were wiped out overnight, forcing farmers to start from scratch. The problem spread beyond rural areas into cities like Irving, where hogs tore up lawns, parks, and even school grounds. Corn remained the favorite target, though soybeans and wheat were also damaged. Some farmers switched crops to survive, but the hogs adapted again. The real danger was not just their numbers, but their ability to learn faster than traditional control methods could keep up. Early efforts failed because they were isolated. Traps, bait, dogs, and night hunting pushed hogs off one property, only for them to reappear next door. Hogs learned to avoid traps, changed feeding times, and adapted to hunting pressure. The shift began when Texas abandoned the idea of a single solution and instead built a layered control system. Smart corral traps equipped with cameras and mobile connectivity allowed farmers to monitor hog movement in real time. Instead of triggering the traps too early, operators waited until all sounders had entered before remotely closing the gates. In places like Irving, this approach replaced guesswork with precision. Still, traps alone were not enough. Helicopter-based hunting introduced speed and scale. While ground hunters covered hundreds of acres, aerial teams swept thousands in hours, spotting bedding areas, movement corridors, and crossings invisible from the ground. These operations eliminated large numbers quickly, but even their operators acknowledged limits. Aerial hunting worked best as one strike within a continuous system. Chemical control added another layer. Texas approved tightly regulated toxic bait systems designed specifically for feral hogs. Entire sounders were eliminated in coordinated strikes, producing faster and more decisive results than ground methods alone. The true turning point came when Texas recognized that tools were useless without coordination. Farms, counties, and regions synchronized trapping, hunting, and chemical control on shared schedules. Pressure became constant, leaving hogs nowhere to retreat. Populations dropped rapidly and stayed down. Crop losses fell, technology costs were shared, and real-time communication tracked herd movement across property lines.